When you die, you respawn at your spawn room, but it doesn't have to be this way. In some games, you can also spawn on a teammate, so what if you could do that? The game would completely fall apart, actually. It's a horrible idea. I made my viewers play through each of the major TF2 game modes, and this is what we learned from the suffering. Attackers always win. Generally speaking, maps made for the asymmetrical game modes, AD and PL, they follow a vague pattern of giving blue a faster respawn at the cost of more walking, and red gets a longer respawn with less walking. When the plugin essentially takes out walking from the map balance equation, we're just left with blue spawns faster and red spawns slower, so blue simply grinds red down with sheer brute force of numbers. And that's it. Look at this fight for Merc Park last. Blue pushes in and everyone dies. But because this one medic survived, he multiplies into 2 more medics, which multiplies into 2 more heavies. And now, red, more like sad. This demo thought he was fighting 3 players. Whoops, it's actually a 1v7. Everyone died in the push, but 1 guy survived. Red loses. But it gets worse. Red players often have no idea where the blue players are coming from. Since players can spawn on invisible spies, and some players dedicate themselves to being a glorified respawn beacon, blue players can push from any part of the map. This got so bad on Swiftwater, where red team, in search of blue players to kill, started holding outside their spawn, while blue was actually stacking their entire team on the cart the whole time, and capped with ease. Pushing into Moss Rock Glass was too hard, so blue team spawned under the tracks and pushed out a red spawn instead. So red gets very sad in AD or PL. What about the other modes? Even more suffering. 5CP becomes a really strange high-stakes king of the hill, where the first to cap mid basically auto-wins. Because each point takes increasingly less time to cap, after capping mid, players would immediately rush to the next one. The other team would splinter between wanting to defend or cap mid back, neither of which would succeed because the second point simply caps faster, and red is united in just pushing 1 point together. So soon after, they lose. This carries over to the other capture point modes. On stand-in, there are 3 points that can be capped at any time, and you win by having all 3 at once. And the problem with this was simple. For each point your team owns, your respawn time is reduced by 2 seconds. So yeah, it snowballs. Same story with Powerhouse. You cap mid, all the dead teammates spawn on last, and it's over. On Steel, Players tried the funny strat of rushing E, but that point just takes too long to cap, and it's also too easy to protect with projectile spam. Playing the map normally, we go back to the same old problem. Blue team's respawn is way faster than red. But the plugin did work out okay on 2 game modes. On Payload Race, because the map is laid out such that the 2 carts collide, it was like fighting over a moving cough point. Your entire team is only ever all pushing the cart or all stopping the enemy's cart, so spawning on teammates only served to make the map more intense. The other game mode is Cough. Because a full team wipe rarely happens, it's actually just constant conflict, with people spawning in on whoever survived the last fight, and immediately charging back in. Compared with the completely normal rounds of TF2 played back in the sniper band experiment, there was a 133% increase in average heavy playtime. Sniper had a 61% reduction, Scout increased by 58%, and Spy increased by 30%.
Fairly often, something will just come completely out of the blue that we don't anticipate at all.